In today's video, we have chosen the interesting topic, how can we use variables within Terraform? Hi friends, my name is Abhishek Maitrey and I am the host of this conversation. I would like to welcome Sachin Kalia to explain the topic further. Sachin, over to you again.
Hey, thank you, Abhishek. And I hope you are healthy enough, and
Yeah,
the audience and the viewers of us, and all of them are healthy and safe.
all safe. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah. So, yes, I'll start with variables. How can we define them? How can we utilize them while we provision any resource? There are certain benefits. Definitely, whenever we create a variables, it provides more readability, more maintainability, and easy to read, and it somewhere avoids the repetitive task we perform, right? So as you can see, I'm into my Visual Studio. I do have my structure in left here, and I do have my main file, which is at the very top, which is utilizing provider Azure RM, which connects to Azure, and the later I am provisioning a resource group with this is the name of that. And how can, if you notice that we create a property name, then we have defined one of the variable which is taking some values, and with the same way we have defined location as well as, and it is again utilizing some variables. So where are all of them are defined, as you can see onto the left of the page. uh, we do have variables.tf. If I open this here, I have declared most of the variables which are being used within my solution. So I'll take one by one. At the very top of this, as you can see, I have my variable which is named as vaccine server location, which is type of string. This is an this is a one of the way to define the data types. And we do have another vaccine server RG, which is again type of string, and this is the different zones which I have declared over here. And the notice, the key point to notice is it is type of map. The same way we do have plans and the storage sizes, which is though most of them I won't be using within this demonstration, but for the sake of clarity, how can we define them? So I have utilized that. So this is how we can define Boolean variable, and Terraform also allows us to create a variable type of list, and this is how you can set their default values, right?
Right,
Though Terraform allows you to create a single variable file where you can declare and assign them certain values, or you can say actual values, but it also provides you one of the convention, which I can say it provides one of the file which has an extension of .tf, or right. So what it
okay.
does, the variable which we have declared over here, if you notice, so the first one is the vaccine server location and the vaccine server resource group. So I have assigned some actual values of them. So vaccine server location, I have kept East US, and the vaccine server resource group name should be learning. So this is how we define the main file where we have utilized them, and this is how we can declare them. And we should have to uh, define their types of that, and this is the place where we can set an actual value of that. So
Right,
the another thing, how once we have performed or once we have created all those variables, so there is a way to just get your hand dirty, and that is all about Terraform console command. uh, just go to the terminal and type that. So once we declare, or once we define and execute that, it allows a it allows us to perform or to check certain values, like it has provided us the place where we can. So for now, this is how you can utilize. So the list variables, we can get their values with the help of index. So as you can see, we do have three index, 0 1 2. Again, it is type of an array, and it is type of a list. And how can we get their values? So this is how we can get. We have kept Sachin Kalia at index 1. If I go again and try to fetch users. uh, so it returns me Abhishek Maitrey. But what in case of the map, like if I try to get the plan, so this is slightly different in nature, right? What you have plans and you have to type it manually. Like if I press, actually map works upon as you know that we do have dictionary into different languages. So uh, most of the dictionary, generally dictionary works upon key value pair, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it works on the same theory somewhere. So if I type 5 USD, so this is how I have received 1x CPU, the value of this
yeah,
key, right? So
yeah.
it is a very easiest way to get and work with the variables. So now going forward to how once we have declared all those stuff, let me apply it. I won't go with the init to initialize the environment, and as we have seen into the past video, Terraform plan allows us to what are we about to provision, though it is one of the good way to identify whatever we are provisioning, and somewhere it provides a middle path. And so directly I'm Terraform applying this so that it should start provisioning of our resource.
Right,
So as soon as I apply Terraform.apply command, it generates Terraform.state file, and it has placed a one of the lock onto uh, that. So it won't allow us to. So generally, what it does, it does not allow multiple user to perform a similar set of tasks onto the same files. In the meantime, if I say let it provision the resource first, it will prompt us. There is some command. Let me.
yeah,
Yeah, as we have applied Terraform apply, and it is asking me, do you want to perform this action? Terraform will perform the action described above. Let me press enter. So it should start provisioning of our. So as you can see, we should have a resource group with name of learning RZ onto Azure portal. Once it completes its execution, and it should be into the east-to-west. So in the meantime, let it execute. And I tell you one interesting fact, I have created one repo that I'll be pushing to repo as. So what it does whenever we do have, so this is the structure of its execution. So very first time it looks for .tf var files if it is present. Otherwise it looks for tf.vars .json file if it is present, and rest the files which ends with .auto.tfr. So this is the precedence it has. There is a precedence to execute all these files. But the highest precedence would be for if we have declared variables declared in TF files and are connected into the single entity consisting of your variables file, main file, and the output file. So it takes the higher precedence over the others, right?
okay. So
And
sequencing really matters.
pardon?
Sequencing really matters.
Yeah, actually, Terraform environment takes care of all these things.
Hmm. Okay,
And another fact which I would like to share you that variable.tf file is used to define the variable type, and optionally you can set default values within that. As we have seen over here, we can set some default values as well. And the terraform.tf files, it is used to set an actual values that we
hmm.
have already seen. So these are actual values which I'm talking about.
Okay,
Okay. And the last point before we jump into the portal, you could set default values for your all the variables you have defined within that file, and it does not force you to use tf var files at all, right? So this
okay,
is the one of the benefit of that. And as we have seen that apply has been completed, it has added one resource. And let me jump to portal and go to the resource group. We should have learning RG. Yes. So here we have provision learning RG. So what we have seen so far, how can we declare variables within variables.tf file, how can we set their default values, and if we are willing to keep a separate file for them, we can set a actual value within that, uh, and those files ends with a tf wars. The benefit of such files would be into those scenarios when we will have a multiple environment, like we would have qa staging and the production. So we can keep them isolate as per the environment. Yeah.
That's good.
So this is all about the demonstration which
So
we
as
have
far
shared along with you.
as far as I understood, variables give you the privilege to clean up the code and give you the more readability out of this. And the management of resources is very, very easy then.
Yes, yeah, indeed, you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So do you
yeah,
have something more to say on this?
yeah, guys. Into the upcoming demonstration, we will cover how can we create a virtual network, and how within the virtual network how can we provision a subnet, and definitely we will be using variables for this purpose, and how can we utilize interpolation within that. So though there are various concepts like implicit dependency and the explicit dependency within terraform, so we will have those session as well into upcoming days. And you can, I'll be sharing this code and will provide the link within the description. You can reach me on Twitter .netpiper. You can go through my blog www.netpiper.com. And yes, about you, Abhishek, please share your details.
I'm available here. You can, in fact, I think it is not readable as of now, just because it's a mirror image. So yeah, the details are available here. You can check me anytime on this address. So at the in the Twitter, I would be available at Abhishek Maitrey, and son of spm at the rate outlook.com is my email ID. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sachin.